Hi, Sung.
Hi, Michelle. Nice
I'm
to meet you.
Michelle. Nice to meet you. I'm a writer for NextShark. Thank you so much for joining me today. First of all, I want to say congratulations. I grew up with Fast and Furious and watching your journey in that film series to now seeing you make your directorial debut. It's amazing and inspiring. Um, First off, I want to know what inspired you to start directing and, specifically what encouraged you and led you to the film Shaky Shivers.
Well, the thing that inspired me to direct is just lack of opportunity for myself as an actor. I have stories that I wish I could be a part of, stories that I wish I could tell. And these are phone calls that are never going to happen. No one is writing those stories for me. And, it's a great time, I think, in, entertainment to be, an Asian person, but at least for my personal story, those opportunities are not present. So I started feeling like, okay, I'm going to start sinking in this quicksand of negativity, and self-doubt, um and I have to forge ahead, and the only way you can do it is like, make opportunities happen for yourself. And I felt like being an Asian American male in Hollywood, being behind the camera, my face doesn't matter. Actually, our stereotypes actually help us, right? Like we're on time, we're punctual, we're responsible, we're, all of these things like are attributes as a director. So, and my face is not in the camera. So I was like, hey, you know, the timing was right also is that, I needed to wait till I got a little older because when I was younger, my focus was being an actor. It was about me. It's like what I'm, like it has to be about like, me succeeding as an actor and my opportunities in front of the camera. But as I get older, I start questioning like, what is my legacy on this earth? Like, what is my purpose? And I've had the fortune to work with some amazing people in our business, and maybe it's passing that knowledge forward behind the camera and creating other opportunities or creating opportunities that I wish I had for people that look like us. You know what I mean? So, and then to answer the second part of your question, what drew me to Shaky Shivers is that was also timing. Like I was looking and thinking about like what film should be my directorial debut, and you look at the landscape of you know people's first films and actors turned director, and then their coming of age stories and dramas and socially impactful stories. And I think because we shot this film during the height of the pandemic, I didn't want to tell a sad story. I just wanted to laugh. And also I didn't have the skill set and the tools in my box to be able to tell that story that eventually that I felt like, was very personal to me. Right. So I wanted to make sure that this directing thing wasn't a fad and it wasn't like something that hypothetically it's like, yeah, maybe I'll just try it. And, at the end of the day, I'm not cut out for it. And when I read Shaky Shivers, it was written by Aaron Strongoni, who's been my writing partner for the past 15 years, and his buddy Andy McAllister. And they wrote this film really because, for two reasons. They love that era of practical effects, right? From the 70s and 80s and early 90s. And they wanted to celebrate that. And Andy has at that time had a, 8 or 9 year old daughter, and he wanted to share this love affair for the practical effects without scaring the bejesus out of her. So, um, he created the story about Karen and Lucy. And thematically, it's something that, I could use as my North Star about the journey of two friends being okay in their skin, being okay with their background. And as long as you have one partner in crime, you're good in life, right? And so I was like, aside from all the monster stuff, and the creature stuff, I was like, that is a story, and a theme that I can like, fight for, right? So that's what drew me to Shaky Shivers. And it's funny, it's like after each take, like everyone's laughing. And what a great way to celebrate with your friends and new friends during the height of the pandemic, to be able to laugh and be able to celebrate this dream of being part of like filmmaking together.
Yeah, what I love about it, even though it's a comedy, its theme also centers on kindness, right? It also tackles what it's like to grow up, to mature and deal with our own insecurities. What message would you say resonated with you the most, and what do you hope audiences will take away from this horror comedy film?
Well, I think the message for me is because I can relate with the characters of Karen and Lucy coming from a small town, feeling like an outsider, feeling like you don't fit in, feeling like, your life is not good enough, right? And you're not good enough. And at the end of the day, just like I alluded to earlier, or I said earlier, is like, it's okay to be you, man, and also you're really lucky if you have like one partner in crime, like one best friend. And that's something I relate with because, I had like one friend in high school, it's like I had my best friend. He was the only one that understood me. And we were like the biggest dorks in the whole school. And, it's like, but we had each other and that's all that matters, right? And you don't have to be the most popular. You don't have to please everybody, and I think, when people see this movie, I think anyone that's felt like an outsider can relate with their journey. So,
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Before I do let you go, I wanted to ask real quick, what future projects or genres do you hope to explore as a director after this debut? And, what can your fans expect from you?
well, I have two projects in the pipeline. I have a a real personal story about my youth in Georgia, about my family. I come from a biracial family. My stepfather is African American, my mother's Korean, and I have a biracial sister. And we grew up in this small town. And at one time we had a convenience store there, and it was like at the intersection of town. And I really need to make this movie now. Like the timing, it's like my father is, he's very sick, and I feel like, in honor of him, I need to make this film to celebrate all of the, amazing lessons he's taught me, as a child and made me who I am today. And I think, that, a few years ago, or 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't think, the world was ready for a movie like this, but I feel like, now I have the skill set. And there's also personal things kind of pending right in my life that is like keeping the, the flame there. And then, that's a smaller, lower budget, independent kind of movie, and very personal story to me. But it's a comedy as well, right? There's a lot of humor in it. And then I also have this manga IP called Initial D. It's a bigger film. It's about cars, and I do have a love affair for cars, and I know cars, and I feel like there's an audience that's waiting for like this car-centric movie that I want to bring life to. And I'm a big fan of Initial D, the manga. So that's something I'm actively working on now as well to to get made. So those two films. But I think the first smaller independent film called Only in America about my childhood is that's the film that I'll do next.
Great. Yeah, I'm really excited for those to come out, but as for Shaky Shivers as well. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure meeting and speaking with you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Karen, what happened last night? What was that? Oh my God. I killed Eric. So you don't remember anything from last night? The last thing I remember is that you shot Eric, and then I just woke up totally naked. Karen! What if you had sex with a wolf? Karen! So what you're telling me is that there's another full moon tonight? Yes. Do I have things? Jesus. What? You need to floss more. This is bullshit. You really want to go? We don't have any other option. Transfusion. You need to clean your blood. This is dumb, because we're not gonna find... Oh, curing the werewolf virus.
I must look pretty terrible.
Yeah.
No.
No.
What are you guys doing out here?
Well, kind of a long story, too.
Can't be any stranger than mine.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's quite a doozy.
You guys are so silly.
No.